presentation today, I would like to ask the question, what is human development? Human development can be interpreted and illustrated in so many ways. To me, I relate human development to a life cycle of a plant. With reference to figure 1, as shown on the slide, the growth of a plant starts from a seed, then the seed sprouts where it breaks the seed coat, which acts as a protective layer to become a seedling. As germination progresses, we can see how the root system becomes established and the first root and leaves emerged. Few days later, the seed leaves carry out photosynthesis until the true leaves are established, providing sufficient food for the plant to grow, bear fruits, and the cycle continues while the other older plants wilts and dies. The same applies to human development. Human development refers to the way people grow from the time they are born until they die. So whatever changes occurs in between, whether it's muscle strength or capacity to learn, it indicates development. Therefore, this presentation will discuss my perceptions of human development in my socio-cultural context based on the theories of John Locke's, Lev Vygotsky's, and Jean Piaget on human development. Having looked at the definition of human development, let's consider the first theory of child development, the theory of John Locke's. He is a British philosopher, a great theorist from the 17th century. I would like to highlight two of these theories. Firstly, he developed a theory that children are shaped by their life experiences and perceptions of those experiences. He also taught that children do not respond well to lengthy lectures, but prefer to be treated as rational human beings who can process things, ideas on their own. Locke also professed that children are not born with an innate sense of things. However, they can be taught such facts and will absorb such facts. While others believed a child's nature is something he is born with, Locke taught that the nature is determined by experiences. Secondly, the theory of morality before facts. Locke believed that a child needs a strong concept of moral values and virtues before learning to add and subtract, because those early lessons molds the child's eventual sense of being and personality. Moving on, let us look at Lex Vygotsky's social development theory and cognitive development. Cognitive is how we acquire the ability to learn, think, communicate, and remember. In early 20th century, the Russian psychologist Vygotsky developed a theory that social interactions preceded development in two levels. First, the social level, which is between two people, also known as interpsychological, and second, the individual level, which is within the child, known as intrapsychological. Vygotsky states that social learning comes before cognitive development in children, and that children construct knowledge activity. He suggested that cognitive development in early childhood is advanced through social interaction with other people, particularly those who are more skilled. He also recognized for his concept of zone of proximal development, or in short, ZPD. Children who are in the zone of proximal development for a particular task can almost perform the task independently, but not quite there yet. With a little help from the other, they will be able to perform the task successfully, probably to guide them or collaborate with more peers. The more knowledgeable others. This refers to the other person who has more knowledge than the learner. They offer temporary support or scaffolding in the child during the learning process. It could be parents, teachers, or an expert who have more understanding or a teenager. Therefore, social influences like getting instructions from someone are of immense importance on the cognitive development in early childhood. The learner, on the other hand, can use the skill from the mentor to successfully complete the task and do it on his or her own later on. Additionally, the third theory, which is Jean Piaget's theory of cognitive development. Jean Piaget derived this cognitive theory from direct observation, where he actually observed his 3 children by direct questioning their thinking process. He said that the environment does not change the child's behavior. Instead, the child seeks to understand the environment and learn from the environment. In this theory, he outlined the 3 processes of adaptation that is made up of 3 functional variants, and they are: assimilation is when a child sees and learns anything new. Accommodation is when you add anything new to the new thing that you have just learned. And equilibration is when adjustment occurs. Piaget further discussed the 4 sequences of development. Firstly, the sensory motor stage from 0 to 2 years, where children learn to respond or take actions using their 5 senses. Secondly, the pre-operational stage from 2 to 6 years is when children start to think, ask questions, explore, and make their own observation. Thirdly, the concrete operational stage from 6 to 12 years, child starts thinking of concrete things now which are present or exist in front of them. And this is when the child's thinking process becomes logical and they are able to understand, put others' viewpoint, and is able to use material operation like addition and subtraction. And lastly, the formal operational stage from year 11 to 15, where the child asks about things which are not in front of them, things which they cannot see. So the thinking process takes place. So those are the 3 theories of development in human from the 3 philosophers, John Locke, Lev Vygotsky, and Jean Piaget. Moreover, I will now discuss how those theories relate to my socio-cultural context. From Locke's theory, he stated that children are shaped by their life experiences and perceptions of those experiences. I was able to relate this theory to the behavior of Itoke students in the school I'm currently teaching. Figure 2. An abused child forms a belief that he or she is less worthy than the others because of what she or he went through. As a result, a child is likely to have low self-esteem and live with shame. Therefore, the child becomes a shy person. Figure 3. The child who receives more attention from anyone around him or her, and probably the oldest or youngest in the family, or maybe the first grandchild, or the only child in the family, who will develop a need to always be at the center of attentions. Figure 4 is a child who comes from a loving family and develops the characteristic to love one another, will definitely demonstrate love to the people around him or her. John Locke's theory is also true that every child needs a strong moral values and virtues that will enable them to become principal adults. In our school, we prioritize Adventist education and we support true education, and that is to educate a child in 4 aspects of life: academically, spiritually, socially, and mentally. We teach our students to develop Christ-like characters, values, and in doing so, we get feedbacks from most of our parents that they have witnessed changes in their child's behavior when they return home. They take part in church activities, they impact other teenagers' lives in their villages, and they become principal adults. As for Lev Vygotsky's social development theory and cognitive development, he suggests that cognitive development in early childhood is advanced through social interaction with other people, particularly those who are more skilled. This is also applicable to my culture. The more skilled person could be our parents, as shown in Figure 5, where parents are teaching children traditional making. Teachers are also more skilled people who can help children learn their culture, even if they lack knowledge from their various homes. As shown in Figure 6, children learn traditional ceremonies in school and also traditional food preparation in Figure 7, which is making vakalolo. From their parents, social interactions as well have developed skills such as learning mother tongue, cooking, farming from their parents, rugby from their peers, and performing other ceremonial practices, for example, Vamagambori or Sevu Sevu from their grandparents. And sometimes children love to imitate someone from their family by closely monitoring those who are more skilled in order to learn. As for Piaget's theory, I also agree that his cognitive theory relates to my culture as well, as it describes thoroughly the cognitive development of a child using their 5 senses to observe and explore, where they start to think of concrete things, and lastly the process of asking about the things which are not visible to them, which allows them to think. Here, Piaget emphasizes on sharing learning experiences. For example, in our school, I get to choose the activities that are appropriate for children of different ages and development stages, as shown on Figure 8. And it is important that we actively engage in quality interactions on a daily basis. Why is it important to study human development? To conclude my presentation, I believe that studying this module is very important to me as a mother of 2 young children, as it widens my knowledge and understanding of how body and mind works in terms of development. It enlightens us of how our children develop physically, mentally, and socially. It allows us to understand ourselves better and what we need to do when we encounter changes in different stages of development. It has also enlightened me as a teacher to understand the way children behave and to be the MKO who will guide and teach good values and also lead others so that we can together develop in the right way. Vinaka.